Hello, and welcome back to Factorio. This is episode 14 of our Factorio 0.17 tutorial walkthrough Let's Play campaign. In the last episode, we began work on a defensive wall to protect us from the biters over on the west side. We also began planning the manufacturing of gray science pack, military science packs. And we fixed up stone and stone brick production and got those two resources onto the bus. In between the episodes, I finished the west wall. It is now completely equipped with turrets, power poles, and inserters the entire way across. I ran a new set of power lines from our power plant to the main base. You can see it's a doubled line of big power poles for redundancy, just in case one breaks. If you click the button over on the right side by the minimap here, in map mode, you can see our electrical network, kind of a ladder there. I've did some basic cleanup and removed some old turrets that we no longer need. Not all of them. We can get rid of most of these on the western side here as well. And fixed some of the turrets that had been damaged before. I also rerouted some coal onto our bus because we're going to need that for grenades, which are part of military science. And I cleaned out a few biter nests. I took out one up here and a couple over here, so that now if we turn our pollution overlay, you can see that there's actually no biter nests within our pollution cloud, except maybe up here that we can't see. Now, that's not going to protect us for long because our pollution will spread very soon to these nests. It'll at least stop the constant attacks that we were seeing in the last episode. We will need to deal with these nests very soon because we have to take this iron patch. We are critically low on iron. We're down to just 248,000 iron. However, I'll be honest, I tried to take on these biter nests in between episodes, and I couldn't do it. I found them to be too difficult. The evolution level has risen. If you hit tilde and type in /evolution, you can see that we're up to 30% evolution. We were at about 18% the last time we checked. And we need better weaponry for that. And to get better weaponry, we need military science. So that's going to be our focus right now. What we figured out last time is that we needed 10 assemblers building military science. We needed 8 assemblers building grenades, just 1 building stone walls, and we would take half of the output of this array that builds ammunition and use that. So let's start there. We're going to put in a splitter, and we're going to route this over in the other direction, and it's a little bit tight because of routing around these cliffs here, so we will use a red underground to make the bigger jump. So that's our ammunition coming in. Now, we don't need much. We only need 1 per second, and we need 1 grenade per second, and we need 2 walls per second. So let us do grenades first. We need 8 assemblers, and the assemblers need coal and iron plate. They only need 10 coal per second and 5 iron plates per second, so we can easily fit that onto 2 belts, or if we were using a red belt, we could fit it on each side, but we're not going to do that right now. So let's move this over here, just as a reminder. And let us remove that, and we can just leave the blueprint in place. Again, we don't need them actually placed there. This was just for design purposes. So we can bring in a belt of iron plates and a belt of coal and feed it like so. And the usual way to arrange these power poles tends to be like that. It's a fairly efficient way to do it. and then we need an output onto a belt. So that's a pretty standard build. We've done this many times before. Two, so 4, 6, 8. And I'm out of those power poles. Well, we'll have to use mediums. They're overkill here, but that's okay. Now I can just run this down because the power poles are blocking for me. And 1 belt, 2 belts, and I just realized we did not put in the other set of inserters for the second machine in the pair. But again, that's all right. Okay, and 1 last belt. We don't need to go that far. Save a few belts here and here. Alright, now you'll notice I'm only putting onto one side of the belt. Usually we try to use both sides, but in this case it doesn't matter because this is such low volume. So let us bring in iron plate and coal. We want one of them to be on this line right here, and the other on this line here. So I think we'll put coal on there and iron over here. Both are a little ugly. That's okay. All right, let's do that. Oh, we have to do this slightly different here. That's coal, and iron will have to come in here. Which means we need another set of these over here. Okay, and let's hook up power. And as soon as this iron arrives, we should have grenades. There we go. There's our iron. And it's producing grenades. Now, these machines here are going to require 3 ingredients. So we can feed that with 1 split belt and 1 unsplit belt. So that's what we will do. And the way we will accomplish that is by... Oh, and I am out of undergrounds. Hang on a sec, I will be right back. Okay, and we're back. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a belt like so and put grenades on one side and the red magazines on the other. We're also going to need to make stone stone walls. Now, stone walls are real simple. We just need a single stone brick, a single belt of stone bricks. So let's bring that in, and we're gonna want that on this line right here, and jump that. Now, stone bricks are to be found right here, so let's put that down and go get them. Here we are gonna have to go out of our pattern because of the cliff. Nope. Okay, and this needs 5 stone bricks every half a second. That's actually going to be fairly hard to feed, but we will manage. We will just place 3 of these. And this is outputting 1 every half second, so we need a blue inserter on this side. And there is our belts for feeding these machines. Now, we're gonna remember that we needed 10 of these. Let's get rid of these blueprints. And we can just wrap this right back down. And the first machine can go right here. So this will make our gray signs. And we're going to use the same arrangement of making these in pairs. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, and we can just squeeze in 10. It will fit here if we play this trick. And we need to put in inserters. All right, now, where do we want that signs to go? You will see in a second how I'm making this decision, but the short answer is I want it to be on this line right here. Yes? Yes. Okay. So I want it right here, and I want it, and I'm perfectly fine with it being on just 1/2 of the belt, because we're only making 2 per second. The belt, each side of the belt can support 7.5 per second. We don't need a full belt, and we don't want to use a full belt. So now we have gray sides. Well, that's very convenient, but that's not gonna get us very far. because one of the things that happens in Factorio is you have to feed all of the types of science you want to the same set of labs. So it is no good for us to have these labs here with red and green science and not and some other labs down here with gray science. We need to get all three together, which means the next thing we need to do is rebuild red and blue science. Now back in the jumper base, we scaled for 1 per second. Now we're going to scale for 2 per second. So let's take a look at what we need. We have this annoying cliff in the way, so we're going to have to go past it. And that's actually fine, because I would like to leave space for something else that will become apparent soon. So, for red science, it's a 5-second cycle, so to make 2 per second, we need 10 of these machines. And for green science, it's a 6-second cycle, so we're going to need 12 of these machines. All right, and here's going to be our output belt, and they can feed right onto this belt, one on each side. So let's build the same kind of setup that we had before. As you can see, that's a pattern we use a lot. Now, over here, we need 1 copper plate and 1 iron gear wheel per second. That can easily be accommodated on a single belt. And over here, we need 1 transport belt and 1 inserter per second. That can also be easily accommodated on a single input belt. So, this is 2 of each kind, 4, 6, 8, 10, and we need 2 more, but just of green. So that's our array. That'll produce an amount of red and green science that matches the production of gray science that we put in a few minutes ago. And there are certainly other ways to build it. We could have put the power poles next to the machines instead of between them, but I kind of like this arrangement because if we had any lights, we could put in some lights next to these and make the whole thing a little more festive. Maybe I will do that between episodes. Now, let's get some power in here. Now we need to feed them. These are easy. Copper plates and iron gears we both have on the bus, so let's just mark where we need it. And let's go bring that in. So, iron gears. Right here. Copper right here. And we will do it... Well, let's do it the easy way. There's that. And there's that. And we need this to be on this line right here. It's gonna have to be offset by 1. I don't want to offset it by 1. Let's do it slightly differently. If we do it this way, then we can place this in the correct spot. That's correct. Good. So, that's red sorted out. Green, of course, is a little more complicated. We need transport belts and inserters. So let's take a look at what we need for that. Transport belts, of course, require iron plates and iron gears. We are going to need 1 transport belt per second, and this puts out 2 transport belts per half a second. So this is actually not just enough, it's about 4 times too much. And all it needs is iron plates and iron gear wheels. Not a problem. We can bring that in, we can load it, and we can offload it onto a belt. Okay, we're gonna need to move this stuff. How about inserters? We need, once again, 1 inserter per second. 2 inserters per second. We're building a double ratio, which means we need iron plates, iron gear wheels, and electronic circuits. And this produces 1 every half a second, so that's 2 per second. So again, 1 machine is plenty. We just need to bring in all 3 items. Now, this uses iron plates. This uses iron plates and iron gears. This uses iron plates and iron gears, plus we need electronic circuits. So the simplest way for us to bring that in is actually going to be slightly different. We're going to do this. And then this will be the green circuits. So, on this line, we need our stuff. And on this line, we need our other stuff. We needed iron plates and iron gear wheels. Okay, well, we can use exactly this same mechanism here. And we need iron. So that's we're going to skip over the copper block and bring in the iron. Now let's bring out our iron plates. And we've put the gears on this side, which means we can put plates on this side. And there we have it. That will get us everything we need over here. And we still need to bring in green circuits. Green circuits... Oh, I took that line way too far. Because green circuits are actually here. Now they're being wiggly because of the cliffs. But ultimately we would like them here. So let's bring them back down. Alright, we gotta at least take this one down. That's where we want that. Ah. So that's that one, which means we can jump this. Jump this and take it in like so. And there we have it. There's our green and red signs being produced. And we're going to run our sciences like so. Okay, well, we've built all this science. We still have to do something with it. Which means we need to build a new lab array. I'm just clearing some space. So let's put that right here. Let's start by going up to our old base and taking out all of the science labs we have there. Okay. So all of this has served its purpose. We no longer want to use it, but we want to reuse these labs for sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to first disconnect this all from power. So let's make sure we've got all of our power links to it. There we go. That'll keep inserters from doing things that we don't want them to do. We can pick up all of this science because it's perfectly good science. And we want to pick up all these labs because they are perfectly good labs. So now we have a total of 27 labs. I would like more than that, which means we are going to... Where did I leave the car? There it is. So we're gonna go get some more from them all. Oh, can't get more from them all because we didn't run we didn't build this part of them all. Let's do that now. We did not bring in this gear array, so this was a good opportunity for us to build up our mall a little bit more. Pieces of it that we have not yet built. And normally I would have probably built the rest of the mall out by now, but I'm honestly kind of worried about the biter threat, so I want to prioritize getting some military science in place. Nope. This should be a jump here. This goes there. Alright, that's got that. We also need this side of it. We've got that. So we need to bring in another bit of gears. We could have done that here. As you can see, our iron is really suffering, as our copper is not all that great either. So we're going to need to expand those soon, but of course with iron, as we know, we've got a big problem. Okay, so this should get us building science labs. Science labs need iron gears, which are coming, iron belts, which are coming, and green circuits we've got. All right, we'll come back for that. Let's give it some time to run. Let's grab some more of these and some more of these. And let's go design our... All right, so the big Nope, can't pick it up because there's so much coal in it. Let's just park it over here. So the biggest problem with the labs is that we currently are doing three different sciences, and we know how to build a fourth. There's actually 3 more. There's a total of 7 sciences in the base Factorio game. And to feed in 7 sciences, even half a belt at a time, we need a set of 4 belts. Now, there's lots of different ways to do it. You can look up things like sushi belts or belt weaving, but here's how I like to do it. I like to bring in our belts. Now, this belt will also later carry blue science. And I like to build an array of science labs set up kind of like this. Space, 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 space. Now this is smaller than I eventually wanted. And then have this come here, have this come here. And have our inserters here. So that will get us into the array. And just like we did before, we will pass them to the next one. Now that works fine right now, but eventually we're going to want more. And what we will do is we will put in another set of belts like so, over towards the end of the array, and then we will also pass them this way. Now, the important thing about passing them is that you want to pass against the direction of the belt, because here, as the science comes in, it'll feed these, but these inserters are indiscriminate. They're not just going to take the new science, they're also going to take this science, and we don't want them moving it for no reason, which means these belts, in fact, are going to need to run this way. But that's later, because we need a little bit more space for this array. So, I'm gonna pre-place these like so. This is 10, 15, 20, and 30. But I also want this deeper. So I think we will do that. That's going to be our design. 1, 2, 3, 7 across. And 5 down? No. Let's do 6 and 7. There we go. That's a big array, but that's okay. We don't need these right now. Now, again, we can't actually... we don't have enough labs right now to build all this, but that's okay. We will build from the first rows down so that we can get it working. Now, we will place that like so. Can I get away with that? No. I have to have one here as well. Well, it is what it is. Okay. Now we can take all of this science that we already had and shove it into here. We didn't put in these. Okay, we now have labs. Let's see what we want to research. We can do all of these red, green, gray science researches at this point, but not yet the blue ones. So the most important thing we can do right now is weapon physical projectile damage and then weapon shooting speed, because those will help us right away. And there go our labs. They are working and they're building things. Now, you can see that this takes 300 cycles to do, so it's not quick. Let's see if our mall has built us any more labs at this point, because more labs will definitely make things go faster. And more. Let's unrestrict that a little bit. How many are we missing from our hypothetical array? We need 45 more. We have 23, 28. And while this is building, we are going to have an episode break and pick up in the next episode. We accomplished a tremendous amount of work this episode. We've got our gray science built out and our red and green science rebuilt, and we started our actual lab processing setup. We're finally doing science again, which will definitely help us with our biters. So, while the mall is building us more labs, why don't you go ahead and try one of these yourself? If you like this episode, please consider hitting the like button, and if you'd like notifications of new episodes, please hit the subscribe button. And as always, don't forget to save.